With YouTube attacking alternative media, please consider supporting the channel via Patreon for just $1 per month. Link below. Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is $3 Theater, and we're getting a little bit of interesting news today coming out of the Lucasfilm camp, where apparently Rian Johnson, who I can only at this point really think is Lucasfilm's golden boy at the moment, although I have a feeling that's going to change with the guys from Game of Thrones. Anyway, Rian Johnson has now seen Solo: A Star Wars Story, and he talked about it a little bit. And here's what he has to say. So it says that The Last Jedi director Rian Johnson is singing the praises of Solo: A Star Wars Story. Much has been made of the upcoming Star Wars standalone centered on the beloved, scruffy-looking smuggler, originally played by Harrison Ford. This time it's Alden Ehrenreich as Han Solo. Troubled production aside, the movie is coming out in just a few months, and fans are still a little uncertain how to feel about it. Now, Johnson has revealed his feelings on Solo, and he seems to be pretty happy about it. Now, I just want to say, before we go a little bit forward on this one, ultimately, I don't really know if Rian Johnson is the right person to be trusting his words on this one at this point. You know, yeah, he's probably seen it and they're thinking like, oh, hey, you know, you just made the last Star Wars movie and that made over $1 billion. So clearly you coming out and talking about this movie is going to mean, hey, it's got the Rian Johnson Lucasfilm seal of approval. But the thing is, one of the biggest problems of the criticism, or I should say of Star Wars The Last Jedi, was Rian Johnson himself. So a lot of fans are not going to take this at all with a grain of salt, or with any kind of you know, I guess I should say support. They'll take it with a grain of salt, but maybe not with like any kind of like blind support. Not that a man like Rian Johnson, who aside from directing The Last Jedi, is also developing a new trilogy of Star Wars films for Lucasfilm, is going to come out and say anything negative in a public setting about the Han Solo movie. However, during an interview at the AARP Movies for Grown Up Awards, Johnson was asked about Solo: A Star Wars Story and shared his rather positive thoughts on the movie, and this is what he says. He says, "I knew it was coming, but I was clicking, yeah. And then I think it looks so beautiful. I can't wait for people to see more of the film. It's so fun. It's so funny. The cast is so charismatic. And I think they all did a great job with it." It's brief. But at this point, we're still, you know, we're 3 months away from the film. We got the first trailer for it. You know, they haven't really started pushing a lot of heavy marketing on it yet. That's going to be coming up pretty soon. And honestly, yeah, Rian Johnson's not going to talk crap about this movie, right? But I also kind of want to like go back to what George Lucas said about The Last Jedi, which was that it was a beautiful film, right? Like he said some stuff about it that what they quoted him as saying felt kind of like it was a praise. But after watching the movie, you can look back on that quote and go, maybe it wasn't a praise. Maybe it was the Lucas kind of warning us, subtly warning us, like, oh, it's a beautiful movie. Not much more than that. And of course, there's been the reports that they've already kind of written off this film. But you can see with this kind of story and how they're going to start marketing it up, they want to own Memorial Day weekend, which they will. They want it to be a success with critics, which, let's face it, if The Last Jedi was a success with critics, this one will be just fine. Now, it does say here that Rian Johnson doesn't single anyone out specifically, but there's a lot of people who are going to be deserving of praise if Solo: A Star Wars Story actually turns out to be quite good. There are also just as many people who may take the share in the blame, and that will certainly become an interesting game of pointing fingers. But for now, since we haven't heard any actual critical reactions to the movie just yet, all we can go on is that the man who made a divisive Star Wars movie says that Solo is a fun movie. And that's that kind of cracks me up as a whole. Mostly because, look, I want Solo to be good, right? I want Solo to be good. I did enjoy the trailer well enough. I was very critical of The Last Jedi. I still am very critical of The Last Jedi. That's never going to change. You know, no matter how much I might grow more apathetic to certain scenes upon further viewings, so on and so forth, I'm still going to be very critical of the movie for a multitude of reasons that I have previously laid out. So I'm sorry, world-class bullshitters. Calling me a Disney shill or that I'm paid to do this is just utterly ridiculous, asinine, and stupid. But, well, they're called world-class bullshitters for a reason. I cannot trust entirely what Rian Johnson says here. I think I don't think Rian Johnson is a biased person to tell us the truth here, because of course, obviously, he wouldn't badmouth it. Disney's giving him a trilogy of films, which means untold millions of dollars that are going to be kind of falling on him, you know. And obviously, he's gonna, you know, be on the upside. But maybe, I mean, I'd like to look at this more from like okay, cool, yay, but this doesn't really fill me with any extra hope, to be honest with you. It doesn't, and I think that if you look at this and it does fill you with hope, that's good. Maybe I'm just too bitter and cynical over what happened with The Last Jedi to trust anything Rian Johnson has to say. But that being said, I will still be at the theater, Thursday night preview showing, popcorn and soda in hand, ready to enjoy the movie because I want to see it. Even if it sucks, at this point, I feel like I absolutely owe it to not only myself, but to anyone out there who listens to my opinion to go see it and then give my honest thoughts. But that being said, I am curious to know what you guys have to say about this. Be sure to let me know in the comments below. If you haven't already, thumbs up the video, subscribe if you're new. Also subscribe and comment below if you want to win a copy of Justice League on Blu-ray on March 10th. That's a good way to get in on that action. If you haven't already just commented in general, do that too. And my name, of course, is Matt Jarbo. This is the 3 Buck Theater. And if you guys want to see more content from me, you can do so right now.